So you've got some moving green screen and you want to track it. Well, recently in the Discord, somebody had asked just that question. So I figured I'd make a video to walk you through how to do it. This is going to be our example footage that we're working with here. It's a moving picture frame with some green screen. If you have a lot of motion in your video, you might be SOL. There's only so much we can do with tracking and keying, but give it your best shot. In order to do this inside of DaVinci Resolve, we're going to use Fusion. Stop being scared of Fusion, you big weenie. It's going to be okay. With your footage on the timeline, go ahead and right click and hit Open in Fusion page. Now there's going to be two steps to this workflow. One is to get rid of the green here, and the other is to track our moving video. Let's do the tracking first. To do so, what we're going to do is I'm going to hit Control plus space to bring up my tool menu, and I'm looking for the tracker node. I'm going to suggest 9 times out of 10 you use the default tracking node. It can be a bit confusing because we're working with a plane that we're tracking, but the planar tracker can get kind of weird quickly. So we're just going to use our tracker node, and I'm going to hold Shift to insert it into our Fusion pipeline. Now I'm in the studio version of DaVinci Resolve, so I have the ability to use the IntelliTrack. A lot of you guys probably don't have that, so I'll just go ahead and use the default point tracker. The hardest thing to figure out when doing green screen tracking is where the heck to put this guy. I'm moving it by clicking this little square in the upper left-hand corner, and I got to figure out where am I supposed to where am I supposed to put you? Well, you see, the way the tracker works is it tries to find a point to stick to. So the key to a good track here in the Fusion page is to pick a good point. If I were to set this point dead center in the middle here, and I were to go track forward and backwards, it's not going to move at all because all it sees is green everywhere. There's nothing here that tells DaVinci Resolve, hey, this point is moving. So how do we pick a point that's moving? So this is kind of the art of tracking, is figuring out where the heck to put these guys. The general rule of thumb is that you want to find points of high contrast. That can be light areas versus dark areas, or color contrast with something like blue versus orange. So for us, when we're looking at our green screen, we might be better off actually tracking one of these dots here on the hat. Or we could look at tracking our package over here and on the ribbon or one of those dots, or even some of the banners up above, and trying to track that point. Sometimes the thing that you're trying to track doesn't have a lot of points that are different from each other, so you got to get creative with where you place it. For my particular video, I probably can get away with tracking this corner right here. Now, when I'm looking at our point here, the normal point tracker in DaVinci Resolve, this inner square is our target square. So anything that we put in here, it's going to try to keep it in frame at all times. And in fact, if I move this down a little bit, we can see that point preview in the inspector tab. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of grab this corner here. And the outer dotted region is the search region. So if I expand this, what DaVinci Resolve will do is when it's time to track, it'll look for these pixels inside of this region every frame. So as I begin to hit my right arrow key and move forward, what it's going to do is it's going to look in the search region and try to find those points. There's not normally a downside to making this bigger than you anticipated. It'll definitely run a little bit slower. And sometimes, depending on the complexity of your image, the textures, if you make this too big, it can get confusing. So just, eyeball it. Use some good judgment here. Once I have that set up, I'm just going to go ahead and track it forward. If you had picked a point somewhere in the middle of your video, you can track forward and backwards. And then obviously this is track backwards. So I'm going to go to the beginning again. Let's track forward. And you can see here that we actually did a pretty good job of grabbing that point. Cool. What happens if you don't? So what happens if you don't have a nice smooth track like this? Well, you got to do a little bit of troubleshooting. It's not necessarily a quick answer. So what I would suggest if you don't have a clean track is to just try picking another point. All right, so that's step one. I'm going to say we've got 2 more steps to this. The next is to get rid of the green. Now, some of you are already probably aware of what keying is, but if you're not, keying is the process of removing a range of colors. And the keying tool that I'm going to use is our Ultra Keyer. There are definitely more than one way of doing this. I just like the Ultra Keyer. I tend to have happy results with it. So I'm gonna hit add. You'll notice that I'm not gonna connect it at first because let's say I did and I connected it here. I'm gonna hit 2 to swap my preview to this node. When I go to my background color and try to pick this green, it kind of freaks out because I'm trying to select the green and then it's trying to hide the green. So then I'm selecting the background and then it's kind of this endless cycle of struggle. So oftentimes what I would suggest is have it unconnected, select your ultra keyer, go to your color picker, and then pick that green. Now I can hold shift and insert it into our pipeline here. And we have a removed background. If your keying process doesn't come out incredibly smooth, so you can see that it actually kind of grabs some of these colors up top here, what you're gonna wanna do is go over to the matte tab, and you can play around with a lot of these sliders, but the big ones are gonna be your thresholds. Or the other option too is you can mask out your keyer. So if I just wanted to hide this area, I go over here, grab a big rectangle, and select this area to avoid keying. Okay, so now let's put something into our frame. I'm gonna go ahead and just use my logo right here, this little shark guy. So I'm gonna put it on a solid color background. Don't have to worry about this step. I'm just gonna set up my image to be tracked. There we go. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put this little buddy into the frame. To do so, go ahead and connect the output of our merge node or whatever you're trying to track into the green input of your tracker. We're gonna go over to the operation tab on our tracker node. Change the operation to match move. Well, that's not right. Simple fix, change the operator to under. And now at first, you might think we're done. But if I look at this, it looks off, right? Like it doesn't feel like it's moving with it. Well, that's because we've only tracked one point. When we track this point, if things are rotating or increasing in size or changing perspective, there's no way for the tracker to know that based off of a singular point. However, if we were to give it a second point, now DaVinci Resolve has 2 points of reference. So if this point is rotating, well, it knows how it's rotating. If they're increasing in distance, well, it knows now that we're changing the scale. So the solution here is we got to give it a second point. So I'm going to go back to DaVinci Resolve. I'm going to go to my tracker. And just for the sake of cleanliness, I'm going to unconnect my image for now. I'm going to go over back to the tracking tab and I'm going to add a second point. So again, where do we put this point? I would suggest if you're tracking a square object to put it in the opposite corner. This will give you the best chance of obtaining perspective correctly. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm just gonna put it in this bottom left corner right over here. And again, I'm gonna hit track forward. And it looks like it did a pretty good job. So I'm gonna reconnect our image here. And now when I scrub forward, we've got a much better track. I could resize and position this here. Oh, did you look at that? That's much better. I'm going to cover a couple more advanced techniques for those who need them. With my tracker selected, you can see we got a little bit of wobble in here. What I could have done is actually increase the number of frames per point, so we got a little bit more separation here. Or I can go to my spline and check on the displacement for both of our tracked points. I'm going to click these arrows in the upper right-hand corner to zoom to fit. There's a cool little workflow technique that we can use. If I hit Control A to select everything, I right-click. One of the options that we have here is reduce points. What this will do is, well, reduce the number of points in our track. And it's doing it on the selected displacement that I have here. So if I do that to, I don't know, 50, be careful here. You want to make some smart choices and hit OK. Now I'll go grab the other curve, right click, reduce points, and we'll go down to, yeah, 50. With my 2 curves selected, I'm going to hit Control A and then S to smooth out those points. That was Control A and then S. And that should help smooth out our track a little bit. There could be instances as well where you're looking at your track and you've got like 1 or 2 outliers in here that just kind of jump up in a weird fashion. Well, you can just always select that point and hit delete and delete and delete. If your tracker breaks mid-track, well, something that you can do is this. Wherever it breaks, you'll find the point where it breaks, select those points, delete them, go up to where your tracker is, and you need to grab this little square Otherwise, it's not going to readjust for you, but just grab that square, reconnect it to where you're trying to track, and then track forward again. There you go. The final thing that I'll say is you'll notice when I did my key here that it actually introduced some transparency here and down here. That is because there are shades of green in those elements. So again, a lot of this process depends on the quality of your footage and what you're trying to do. If that is something that you're dealing with, well, you're going to have to mask out your keyer, meaning that you're going to have to limit the region that we're masking. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this tracker and we're just going to paste it over here so that the polygon uses it as well. So I'm going to take this tracker, copy, paste it over here. We're going to need a background input. So you could just use a blank background if you wanted, or you could reuse the media connected there. And this is the really important part for this to work. You need to right click, not left click, right click, drag and release on the tracker and make sure it's the foreground input. Where you'll go wrong is if you accidentally put the polygon into the mask input here, we want it in the green input. I can preview this tracker node by hitting 2, and we're not quite seeing what we want because what we need to do is go over to the operations over here and change the mask move setting to just foreground only. Now we can see our polygon move. So I can now take our tracked polygon and feed it into the mask input of our ultra keyer. Now, if I go back to our media out, oh, pretty good. You can see that left sliver is just goofing up a little bit. So you might have to do some manual keyframing, but that's a lot better than what we had before. And before we finish, if you are trying to learn DaVinci Resolve and you need something a little bit more structured than bouncing around YouTube tutorials, well, we just finished an entire course that covers the essentials of editing and creating inside DaVinci Resolve. It's tailored to provide structure and help you feel confident with your editing decisions. It's not free, but for about the cost of a sandwich, you can master all of the essentials of DaVinci Resolve, including the edit page, the color page, and Fusion. If that sounds like it's the right fit for you, there will be a link in the description.